Welcome back, guys, as I'm just posting another short and simple update on some of the latest events in Israel, Gaza, and the surrounding regions. And so, directly into the map, and starting out in the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli Defense Forces, or the IDF, have intensified their operations, especially in the southern cities of Khan Yunis and Rafah. This has included airstrikes and ground operations aimed at eliminating Hamas infrastructure and combatants. And as such, the IDF has reported that dozens of Hamas members have been eliminated in these operations. Take Rafah, for instance. The southwestern border city has seen Israeli Defense Forces perform clearing operations from the area all the way up to the Mediterranean Sea. Although this movement has not actually been as complex a task as it could have been, due to the relatively wide open spaces for which to allow the IDF some movement through. Otherwise, it's never really the fastest working process for a military to move through an urban warfare style environment, as they have to instead deal with more intensive close quarters combat engagements involved. And just to give you an example of what they haven't really been dealing with on that front, there's a lot of wide open spaces there. Although also, the IDF has bounced back off the border wall and has made its way 2 miles deep back into Rafah and beyond all the way to Khan Yunis, and doing so utilizing the open position of the highway to extend their reach deeper, and of course to use it as an encirclement tactic. Although the term encirclement must be used loosely here, as Hamas operates approximately 500 kilometers of an extensive underground tunneling network. Now, the IDF has considered many options to destroy the tunnels, and given that they are subterranean in nature, it's been suggested to simply flood them. However, the IDF couldn't do this completely because it would need to be more of a rare and isolated incident or event. Because if you manage to flood all the tunnels, there will be some unintended environmental damage consequences, including the contamination of groundwater and soil. Not to mention concerns for the structural integrity for the buildings just above them in some cases. So as current, what the Israeli Defense Forces are doing is, well, firstly, they locate the entrances and use controlled explosions to collapse some tunnels. And of course, sealing off the entrances, a permanent sealing, so as to make them no longer useful. Then looking around a bit further on the map, so taking a look at the colors. So just as a reminder, the dark brown here indicates the newly announced evacuation zones, and the yellow just above it is the ongoing humanitarian zones. But also the very lightest blue overlay on the screen that it's really difficult to see is in fact the furthest extent of IDF clearing operations to date. It basically covers the whole of the north there, with a few empty pockets, albeit. Then heading away from this part of the map, and we'll head quite north past Israel to Lebanon, as Israeli forces have been engaged in operations with Lebanon responding to Hezbollah attacks. For instance, an attack by Hezbollah using drones recently resulted in injuries to 18 Israeli troops, highlighting the multi-front challenges faced by the IDF. Then, in terms of the broader political military strategy, there have been internal debates within Israel regarding the best strategy to end the conflict. Some military officials advocate for a ceasefire to release hostages, while political leaders, including Benjamin Netanyahu, emphasize the need to continue operations until Hamas is completely eradicated. So that's my short and simple quick update for today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed, just to keep us all in the loop. And yeah, thanks again for watching. And yeah, hope to see you guys there in the next one. Cheers.